What is the most stunning way you've seen someone throw their life away? My wife's brother. He was awarded millions after an industrial accident. Wasted it in record time, married a woman older than his mother, and had to flee the country because he had built up a massive debt within an insanely small time frame, and the wife had assaulted a doctor while in the hospital during a routine checkup. By now he has fled 2 more countries because he builds up new debt to everyone and everything he can. He could have had it all. Instead he wasted it. Whenever I hear multiple millions being wasted, I just cringe. Investing just $2 million with 5% return. You get $100,000 a year in return just from interest, forever. Some of that can even be put back in to keep up with inflation. Guys, come on. If you have even $1 million, you are well on your way to financial independence if you don't spend the principal. TL. Dr. Stonks too. 5% was just a number one came up with. I'm not a financial planner expert. Someone else below said the rule of thumb is 4%. Feel free to talk to them about the number, because unfortunately I can't help with finding good investments that will return that with minimal risk. Thanks. Thanks, financial advisor of Reddit. It's not incredibly stunning, just kind of eye-opening how bad some people are at running their own lives. My brother's ex-wife broke up the family in a way that caused a lot of pain and stress. She's terrible at confrontation, so instead of talking to her husband, she decided to just stop coming home and sleeping at her new boyfriend's house. He was left with 2 toddlers and no clue what his wife was up to until a few weeks later when she finally confessed. Then the next 18 months was her trying to get back with him, insulting him, hoping they be separated, but stay married for the insurance, saying she was going to be homeless if he didn't take her back, and so many more things. She makes $60K a year and lives in a big city suburban area, yet she can't seem to do anything to take care of herself, find housing, get insurance or her kids. They are finally divorced, and my brother couldn't be happier. What happened to the 2 children? They have joint custody. She hasn't done enough to lose custody yet, and they go back and forth every week. They seem to be doing well, but the oldest is starting to show signs that the divorce is affecting her. Me. I used to work for a local bank. Had a nice office and nice car. Had my own place. Decent savings, great CR score. I decided that was enough. I found out a way to take money from people's accounts. I did this over a year and a half. I got very confident I wasn't going to get caught, so I kept doing it, taking larger amounts. Well, eventually I got caught, got fired, lost my apartment, car, and was charged with several felonies. Ended up doing 6 months in jail. Now I'm bankrupt, living with mom. I have to pay back a large amount of restitution. I don't have a car. I'm an alcoholic. At least I have a job, and I've been able to move up within a year. Still don't get paid enough, but I'm trying to do the best I can. Lost friends and family. I live in a small town, so everyone knew. I don't even like going to the store because I always run into someone I know. Can move out of the town because I can't afford it. What on earth made you think you weren't going to get caught? But appreciate your honesty. We all make mistakes. A friend of mine in her late 40s had a daughter in her first year of college. Paid the outrageous fees for her sorority membership. Single mother, but she had the job to pull it off, making around $25 hours here in the Midwest. Enter her ex fresh from a 10-year jail stint. Within 3 months she lost her job, lost her apartment, and lost her car. Basically the ex did illegal stuff, and while trying to clear her name of it, she missed too many days of work, thus leading to the loss of the other things. I lived in some okay apartments at $450 MO rent, and talked my landlord into renting out to this friend's. She ends up ghosting me because she thinks she can get into some place better with her ruined CR and a fresh eviction. Around this time she cuts contact. I assume it's partially embarrassment and partially fear. I had loaned her $200 before this all went down, so her daughter could do a school trip, and she didn't pay me back. This was 3 years ago, and honestly I just want my friend back. My alcoholic Phil got a double lung transplant, but he was drinking again within a month. He died within 2 years of the transplant, never doing anything but drinking and wallowing in solitude. I should add that this was not only a tragic waste of a second chance at life, but also essentially a waste of those donated organs. I'm amazed they didn't pick up on his obviously chronic alcoholism as part of the process. Literally last week my friend had a single lung transplant, and even though he was a firefighter at 9/11 who you think would be a walk-in, they were still very stringent with the approval of the op. It wasn't unnoticed. At first, it wasn't clear that they would put him on the list because of it, but they allowed it, provided he quit drinking. He had to sign a pledge or something that he would quit. I think he went to one AA meeting. RAAA, with its success rate of 5-10%, wrong organization. My old roommate. His parents were super strict and kicked him out of his house for getting home 10 minutes after curfew on his prom night. I let him move in with me and tried to teach him to adult as best I could. Sadly, once he was out in the real world and out of his parents' shackles, it was all over. He demolished his car due to being hungover and sleep deprived about a month after he started college, leaving him without a way to get to class and resulting in him dropping out. He started working for a landscaping company that paid less than minimum wage. Met a girl his first GF to my knowledge, moved in with her, married her, and knocked her up 4 months after meeting her, not 4 months after they started dating, 4 months after he met her. Last I heard they are still married, and she's pregnant with her second kid, which he is not the father of, and he is working at Arby's. One of my best friends, a dude I talked to daily, had almost died in his 30s and had to have a kidney transplant. Didn't smoke, drink or do drugs. He had a successful business, 2 beautiful teenage daughters, and was a very chill person. Went to every cheer competition and ball game for the kids, etc. He had marriage problems. His wife was very closed off and was cheating. He would talk to me about it, but never acted like it was a big deal. More of if she stays, she stays. If she goes, that's fine too. He took the whole family on vacation to Mexico. When they got back, he killed her and then himself. To this day I don't know why. I know his daughters and they are doing great, but I would never ask them something like that. They found them when neither parent answered the phone. I wonder if he didn't have more medical issues and just snapped, but he'll probably never know. My 17-year-old son's suicide. He was beautiful inside and out. He couldn't see any joy to come. My little brother took his life this year, 2 weeks before he was going to meet my daughter for the first time. A parent is not meant to bury their child. My deepest condolences. I'm so sorry for your loss. A year is not a long time. I'm sure in his right mind he was looking forward to meeting her. Hope you are doing okay. Jesus, my 17-year-old best mate done the same thing 28 years ago. I'm really sorry for your loss. It's such a shame and waste. They couldn't see themselves for the beautiful kids they were and the amazing adults they would have become. My condolences. That had to have been hard. Yes, if only he could have seen himself through my eyes. A guy who played football for the local city high school, a few years ahead of me. He was incredible. Played both sides of the ball, and nobody could catch him. I'm unsure of what his home circumstances were like, but there isn't much privilege going around, so a full right to play for state was definitely an opportunity. He crushed it, playing all 4 years, and got drafted into the NFL. The same year, just before the season was about to pick up, I was pulling a July 4th night shift on ambulance crew when one of our other units got dispatched to a fireworks accident. The guy blew off a few of his fingers somehow handling fireworks. I don't know the details, because it wasn't my call, but he got cut from the team before ever wearing a uniform. It's sad because he was such a hard-working athlete with so much talent. My girlfriend's friend's dad got really behind on his mortgage. After he got fired, his fault, he got another job. Called out the first day because he didn't have a Red Bull. They let him come to work a second day. Third day he called out again and got fired. It was a well-paying job too because he got $300 for the one day. Instead of saving that and putting it toward the mortgage or food, he decided to blow it on Red Bull, beer and kayaks. They're currently in the foreclosure process and haven't had a real meal in a few weeks. I have no sympathy. Christ, he squandered that opportunity. What a mess. I have to admit I wasn't expecting he'd spend the money on kayaks though, of all things. My friend in college got excellent grades, did amazing work in her field, had great friends, and could have headed somewhere. but someone she dated was an abusive partner and really messed up her confidence and mental health. We all tried to help her, but she won't and still won't listen. Now she does drugs, goes out partying every night she can, does nothing to make herself better in the field she was studying. I would be hypocritical if I didn't say that I'm too doing nothing in that regard. She gets defensive over everything. It makes me so sad. I could see the beautiful potential she had if she didn't focus on who her next boyfriend should be. My older cousin, I'm not sure how much older, but willing to bet around 8 to 10 years, was a very attractive young man. I say this objectively, as he was living with us at the time, and he got offered a modeling contract out of the blue. He turned it down because he would have had to fly, was afraid of planes, and shave his chest. He moved out a few months later, and I heard nothing about him for years, until we found out he had a son. Saw him last year finally. He is separated from the boy's mother, only sees him occasionally, is missing teeth, and consumed 2 cigarettes and 3 beers in the hour we were visiting. Real winner. I was in a long-term rehab with a guy who left the program early. He ended up murdering someone in a state of methamphetamine psychosis, and is now doing life without parole in Texas. He's currently 25, and was 23 when he was sentenced. He was a bright, talented, and articulate person who just couldn't get the monkey off his back. Some people are too young to realize their qualities and self-worth. It's a shame that they realize this when it's too late, and they're paying high prices for bad decisions made in the past. A buddy of mine got an inheritance when he was 18 and spent it all on a Nissan Skyline. Wrecked the car when he fell asleep driving and paid to have it fixed, then wrecked it again, couldn't pay for it, sold it, bought a crotch rocket Japanese bike, laid it on a 30 miles per hour road, didn't get too hurt, had to sell it, and ended with nothing. Hes getting the other half in a few years, I hear. I hope Hes learned a lot. Hes 28 years old now. Drugs. Always drugs. I hate drugs. Me too. And now I've been on Suboxone maintenance for 14 months. Now I'm addicted to them. No one warned me, not the doctors or anyone. I just told someone today how depressed I've been, and that I don't think I will ever be able to feel genuinely happy ever again. I think I've burned up my receptors in my head. Anyway, sorry for going on about it. I hate them too.